today we have a really exciting college application workshop for y'all. As first generation students, we definitely wish we knew this when we were in high school. So if you're applying to college or you know someone that is, then definitely tune in or send them this video.
Dedication, hard work, plus patience. To some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting.
Hey family, my name is Melly Haile. Let's make it happen.
Hey y'all, my name is Hal Yusuf. Let's make it happen.
Make It Happen is all about Black excellence, and Black excellence starts with our youth, which is why we're doing college application workshop to show high school students that college is accessible, and if you just use your resources, you can get into any college you want to. So we definitely want to give back to our community, so tune in. Without further ado, let's get into Make It Happen's college application workshop. Let's take it away.
Got you. Let's get into it. So, there's two main components when you're applying to colleges that you want to highlight within your applications. One is you as a person. So you have unique lived experiences that only you can attest to. So college recruiters really want to hear your experiences and your personal goals, your personal values, what made you who you are, and how you became the person that you are today. Just make sure you're being authentic with who you are. Obviously, don't share what you don't want to share or don't feel comfortable with sharing, but just, make sure that the college recruiters have a full picture of who you are as a person, your interests, and why you're applying to their school.
Yes, exactly. And the second component is academic careers. So I would tell them a little bit about how they can share that with college application.
Yes, so for academic careers, you have your GPA, you have your standardized tests, which are ACT and SAT. With ACT and SAT, they're optional right now ever since COVID. Personally, I never submitted my SAT scores, but
Neither did I.
So, and that's one of the main parts of the application, that if it says optional, it's actually optional.
And one thing about it, other parts of the college application, if it says it's an optional essay, it is not an optional essay, okay? So if you are a high school student and you're doing your Common App or you're doing your college applications and you see something that says optional essay, it is not optional. Do that essay. Yes.
Because again, they want to know about who you are, and that's another opportunity for you to show them.
If you're submitting your ACT and SAT score, one thing that I did is I just went and looked at all the averages of schools. So for example, you can do your own research. I'm just, shout numbers out. If USC's average ACT score is a 30 and I got 27, I wouldn't submit it. But if your average is above or the same as the school that you want to submit, then definitely submit it. So if your ACT and SAT can work for you and help you as a competitive advantage, then submit it. But if you're below average, then colleges don't need to know, okay?
No, they don't need to know. Make it work for you. Only include what you think will be an asset to your application and not a hindrance. Also, there's letter of recommendations as well. I'm sure you guys know if you're already within the college process. So you've been going to school these past 4 years. You've been building relationships with your teachers. So this is the time where you want to leverage those relationships. They're there day in and day out to vouch for you as a person. So don't be afraid to ask for letters of recommendations. Teachers are there for you. What do colleges want to know? Colleges want to know why now. A lot of the time, colleges have a why us question, and you definitely want to be specific in that question. Make sure that, you have information and you've researched information about that specific university and their goals, their values, their mission, and your specific major as well. You don't want to do a copy and paste with this question. You definitely want college admissions officers to know that you have a full scope of the university and everything that they have to offer, and that you're not being generic with your answer. So yeah, do your research for sure. Colleges want to know what you're going to do with your degree, how you're going to make an impact on their campus. Impact is a big emphasis within your college application. So you definitely want to, showcase how you've been making an impact within your entire high school career and how that will translate into your college experience as well.
For sure. I feel like the mantra for college applications is commitment and impact. You want to show colleges that you've been committed and dedicated to something, and you also want to show them how you've made an impact so far and how you'll make an impact at their university as well. So commitment and impact, showcase those two things and you'll be just fine.
Also, passions, interests, desires, experiences. Show them who you are, your values, the impact that you want to make, like we said, and Why do you want to get your college degree? What's your why? What's your reason? You really want your why to come through in your application. College admissions have a holistic approach, meaning that there's the stats aspect of it, which are the fixed numbers. That's your SAT, your ACT, your GPA. While that's not everything, it's definitely important. Extracurriculars, this is a big one. This is really how you showcase who you are, what you're committed to, and the type of student that you are outside of the classroom. A lot of colleges want to see that you're making use of your time, showcase, again, like Melly said, your commitment and your impact. Not every single extracurricular that you list will have to have like a leadership position or some sort of like grand position. Like, let's say like you're part of like a student org in your high school campus. You don't necessarily have to be president. You don't have to be vice president. You don't have to have a position in your executive board in order to make an impact. You could simply be an active member, and that's what college admissions are looking for.
So the third type of personal statement that's very common for high school students to submit is a problem solution type of personal statement. This is where you're really passionate about a problem and you're showcasing what you did to bring a solution, and it also shows why you're so passionate about the issue and why it resonates with you, and most importantly, what you have done to showcase that you're passionate about
Actions.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
They really do.
For sure. So you just have to have a problem that you're passionate about and figure out solutions to solve that problem.
Exactly. And it's kind of like what I was saying earlier about find that gap within your community. Find something that you see is not right and fix it. So once you've done that, this is your time to write about it. This is your time to showcase it in an academically sound way and in a beautiful way, in a descriptive way. So
for sure.
yeah.
This is your time to showcase the initiative that you've taken.
Exactly.
Your personal statement is not a place to be humble at all. You want
Brag.
to showcase what you've done. You want to showcase why you deserve to be at that college and what impact you've already made, to show them that you are definitely able and more than capable to make an impact at their school as well. Moving on to competitive advantages, you want to show, not tell colleges. So whatever it is that you're passionate about, you want to, of course, tell colleges, hey, I'm passionate about the entertainment industry.
Right.
I'm passionate about law, but I don't see enough representation. For example, I'll speak to law because that's what I know about, but with lawyers, only 5% of lawyers are black women, and I saw that and I realized that there's disparities within law, so I went and shadowed some lawyers, and you can do that with the medical fields as well.
Any field.
And when we say show, not tell, we mean if you're passionate about the medical field, don't just say, I'm passionate about the medical field. Show colleges that you've shadowed doctors, that you've shadowed nurses, that you've volunteered at hospitals, and that shows them your passion. Your passion comes through with the things that you've done.
You really have to walk them through it and really describe exactly how your passion has implemented into action.
Yes, exactly. So moving on to another competitive advantage, you don't want to use other people's voices. For example, if I just love and adore Hawa so much and she's just inspired
And
me.
does. No.
And I do. But college admissions officers don't want to know about Hawa in my personal statement. It's called a personal statement for a reason. So be descriptive and make it personal to you. Another thing is that you don't really want to have this like savior complex when you're writing your essay. I personally wouldn't include, I want to be a voice to the voiceless. Like, they've heard that a million times, and it also insinuates that you're saying certain communities don't have a voice. It's a savior complex, and you don't want to talk on behalf of other communities, even if you're a part of that community. So instead, you can say something like, I want to uplift and amplify their voice. I want to use my platform to maybe provide resources, but you never want to be like, I want to change this community, because oftentimes communities don't need changing. Moving on to another competitive advantage, don't make your entire personal statement about someone else. I've already explained that. And also another big one is don't try to cover every single thing about your life. I feel like that confuses readers.
Yeah, you really have to get specific about the parts of your life that you that made you who you are, or the parts that like you really want to talk about and hone in on. you shouldn't really glaze over your entire life, because that really doesn't give admissions officers something to focus on.
Exactly. You're very surface level with things, and you don't want to do that. So if I'm like in preschool, I did ballet, and then middle school, I started gymnastics, and now I'm passionate about law. Like, you're very surface level. You can definitely add the things that connect with each other, but don't just add random stuff to like fill the word limit or anything like that. So moving on, make sure your grammar and spelling is on point. Obviously, you don't want to lose petty points. AI is definitely a thing. Do not have AI write your personal statement for you. But you can definitely use AI to your advantage and have AI Grammarly or ChatGPT check for any spelling issues, any grammar issues, or anything that you have. Also, I just recommend have your friend read your personal statement for you.
If you have like an older person that you look up to, if you have an older sibling, if you have even like look next to you, look at your peers, have them look at it.
Because sometimes like it makes sense to you what you're writing because you know yourself and you're like, this makes sense. But if I give it to Hawa, she'll be like, girl, this really doesn't make, I'm lost. You know, and you want that critical and honest opinion because colleges, they're not going to give you an opinion. They're just going to move your paper to the side.
Exactly. And also, like, with the grammar part, make sure, like, if you thought you already looked over your paper enough, look over it again. Because they really need to know that you are able to produce a polished piece of work, because that's all you're going to be doing in your college career. They need to know that you're up for the challenge, that you know how to create a paper that not only is like descriptive and like can tell a story, but also is professional.
Like we said before, your GPA, ACT, and your extracurriculars are set in stone, which is why we wanted to really hone in on the personal statement, because that's one part of your application that you have full control over, and that's where colleges can really hear your voice. And I actually did interview a USC admissions officer, and he really honed in on that as well. And y'all can definitely check out the videos on my YouTube, but we'll repost it to make it happen as well, for sure.
And
so
if like, let's say your GPA isn't like up to par or something like that, there are places in your application where you can explain maybe what you went through, if there was an addendum, so you can definitely like tell your story, explain like maybe like why like a certain class wasn't a grade that you expected it to be, or stuff like that. Like, it is not an end all be all.
It's not the end of the world.
So there's definitely room to explain.
Absolutely. So don't get discouraged if you're looking at your GPA doesn't match the average, because like we said, a lot of colleges do take a holistic approach when it comes to college applications. And now that affirmative action is gone, I will add this. One thing that the Harvard admissions officer told us is that since affirmative action is gone, thanks to our Supreme Court, colleges won't know what race you are unless you want them to know. So if you do want them to know that you're a certain race or that you come from a certain background, then you can add that within your personal statement if it's important to the story that you're telling. So obviously we have a Black Excellence digital platform and a talk show where we want to highlight the positive things within our community, and that's important to us. So we would add that in our personal statement if we were to write one. Like, for example, I'm writing, my personal statements for law, and I would definitely add that. So in terms of your race and your culture and your background, if you want to add it and it's important and integral to who you are as a person and to your high school career, you can definitely add that in your personal statement, but they will not know anything about your race or background or anything in the application, because affirmative action is gone. And it's not the end of the world. It's not necessarily, a hindrance to you all. It's just something that you have to adjust to.
And just, take it upon yourself
to make that change. For sure. And that's just something that we have to get used to, because it is the reality, and that's okay, because we're hard workers and we are trailblazers. But I just wanted to add that in there for y'all. So any last tips or anything that you want to give them?
Yes. So my number one tip is don't stress yourself out.
Do not stress yourself out
at all. You guys have already done the work. You guys have already done every single step to get to where you are today throughout your 4 years. So trust in that. Trust that you're qualified. trust that you are the applicant that the college that you're applying to needs.
Period. Because at the end of the day, colleges are institutions and are businesses. So
Right.
they want to know how you can benefit them just as much as they benefit you. So colleges are going to be giving you their resources. Of course, you're paying a lot of money for them, or
Right.
somebody is.
Somebody paying.
But they want to know what impact you can make with their resources and use your college degree to make a difference.
Right. They're essentially giving you those resources. They want to know why you deserve them.
For sure.
But you've done all the work. You're already here.
Now
so don't,
show it.
Now
it's not
show
a time
it.
to be humble. Like we said,
Brag.
showcase what you've done.
This is the time where you are able to showcase who you are and all of your experiences, and just know that you is enough. Like,
Hello, you is enough.
every experience that you've been through up until now is enough. So just know that you are adequate and you are deserving. There's no imposter syndrome over here.
No imposter syndrome.
No.
I know when I was in high school, I was like, but they did this and they have this GPA and da-da. That does not matter. At the end of the day, everything that you bring to the table is more than enough.
For sure.
For sure.
So do you have any pieces of advice that you want to impart on our viewers?
Of course. My last piece of advice is do not be afraid to ask for help. I know our friend Linsa was telling the high school students that we talked to about this, and I just definitely echo her sentiment about not being afraid to ask for help. As first-generation college students, we
Difficult.
couldn't go home and tell our mom, oh, can you help us with our college application? Can you read over our essay? But we did have resources like our English teachers. I know I went to my English teacher.
Girl, me too. Counselor, English teacher,
All of that.
older students, like alumni. Take
For sure.
advantage of all of that.
Take advantage. I know I asked my friend's older sisters to read it. My cousins who went to college, I'm like,
My
oh, so
sister.
can I read your application or what?
Right.
Like, are you gonna send me your personal statement
Or
or
what?
what? Because they are definitely there to be a resource for y'all. Definitely ask for help. Ask anyone that you can for help and tell them to read your personal statement. And if you don't understand something, just ask. I know I got my
Just
sister's
ask.
friends hitting my line like, Melly, can you read our personal statements? Like, I got people DMing me, and I'm more than happy to help because I could have definitely used that help
Yeah.
when I was in high school, for sure.
And you
so.
see yourself in them too.
For
which is
sure, like absolutely. I was in high school all scared and nervous.
Me
I was
too.
like, this is stressful. Like,
Yeah.
I remember I hated it. Like,
bro, that was
I
the worst.
hated the college application process.
Yeah.
Like,
It was really. I don't even want to discourage y'all, but we get it.
we
Like,
get it because
that's
it's
the point,
daunting,
like,
but it does not have to be. It does
It
not have to
doesn't
be
have to be.
stressful or daunting. All you can do is submit the best application that you can, put your best foot forward, and then
The
leave it
rest
at
is
that.
up. The rest
Exactly.
is-
It's up and it's
Yeah,
stuck.
it's
So.
up.
And with that, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Make It Happen's College Application Guide. Like we said, you got this. Don't be discouraged by nothing.
Now you hear what I've been saying.
Together, we can make it happen.